Here's a secret for you. Respect in meetings is not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being the person that people actually listen to. In this video, I'm showing you exactly how to do that. Early in my career, I thought that talking too much in meetings was a good thing because I seemed like I was engaged and I was listening and I was following. So I'd jump in with every thought that came to my mind, shared every single idea I thought of, and commented on literally everything. But I noticed something weird. The more I talked, the less people actually listened to me. My manager would nod politely and then move on. My ideas literally got lost in the noise. And then I watched the senior PM in action. She barely spoke for the first 40 minutes of the meeting, but when she did, every single person was so interested in what she had to say. They actually leaned in. The room went quiet because her words carried so much weight. And that's when it hit me. I was not ignored because I was not talking enough. I was being ignored because I was talking too much without saying anything meaningful. And that experience taught me that respect in meetings comes from contribution quality, not quantity. So I created a system that helped me show up with authority without dominating the conversation. Here's how it works. First shift, stop winging it. Most people walk into meeting rooms with no clue what they're going to talk about. And once in the meeting, they scramble to try to find something to contribute with, which ends up with them stating really obvious things. We've all been in those meetings where somebody speaks and you're like, did you really need to say that out loud? But that's the thing. That comes from a lack of preparation. Or those other people that just end up repeating the same thing that other people said. Oh yeah, to piggyback on what Susan said, and they repeat the same thought again. So in order to avoid all of that, ask yourself this before every single meeting. What's one thing that no one in that meeting room can contribute with? And that's the idea that you want to bring to the meeting. That could be one lesson learned from a previous project that could help solve the challenge that you're all struggling with right now. Maybe it's a fresh perspective from a client discussion that you had. Or maybe that's extra context that your developers brought up in a conversation. The key is this. One sharp insight beats all the generic comments that people toss in a meeting. And when I started doing this, I went from background noise to being someone people wanted in the room because I was always prepared and always brought fresh perspective with me. All right, strategy number 2, and this one is really good. We've all been in meetings where things got messy and people started going around the same point. You know what I'm talking about. Step in and summarize what's been said. Say something like, so it sounds like we're all aligned on A, but we're stuck on whether to prioritize B or C. Did I get that right? This does 3 things. First, it shows that you're listening. You're not just there waiting for your turn to speak. Second, it brings clarity to chaos. And third, it positions you as someone who's able to synthesize complex conversations. And here's the bonus. When you're the one summarizing the conversation, you're taking control of the narrative. I used this strategy in a meeting last year. We'd been going in circles for 20 minutes. Now, mind you, this is a conversation with stakeholders in a corporate, okay? Important. Because some people were all about rigid and stiff processes and workflows and authority chain. You know those people. And other people really just wanted to get shit done. So after listening to them for what felt like forever, I said this. It sounds like we all want faster iterations, but we disagree whether we need more process or less. Is that the real question we need to deal with? The room went so quiet, I was actually proud of myself. Because now, not only they were forced to acknowledge the elephant in the room, but they had to deal with it. And from that point, I was no longer just participating in the meeting. I was leading it. Now that's the power of summarizing properly. Here's number 3. And honestly, this one was the hardest for me to learn. Let other people speak first. I know, you go to a meeting, you prepared your points, now you're excited to share them. But when you jump in so early, what you say might get lost in the noise. But when you speak at the end, after you heard everybody, you get to synthesize everything and offer the most informed perspective. Think about it. When you speak too early in a meeting, you have your own agenda, and that's what matters to you the most. You might be guessing what matters to the others in the room. But when you speak last, you know exactly where the gap is and what's missing. This doesn't mean you have to stay silent the whole meeting and only cram your points in the last 3 seconds. It means being strategic about when you contribute. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're on a sprint planning with your team. You have your developers and designers and you have your own agenda. If you jump in and you're like, do this and do that, okay, fine, they'll go do it. But what if you listen to the developers and designers? They share their agenda first. You might identify some dependencies and some concerns. And then you might end up saying something like, oh, wait, I plan to do X, Y, Z, but it sounds like A and B are the biggest concerns. Why don't we deal with those first? Now your input is going to be so much more valuable because it was informed by the room, not just your own agenda. All right, let's move to number 4. It's not just what you say, it's how you show up physically. I'm talking calm tone and open posture with intentional pauses. When you speak quickly and you're fidgeting and you're all over the place, that signals uncertainty. But when you slow down, you make eye contact and you pause before you speak, even just for 2 seconds, that signals confidence. I know this sounds very simple, but it has a massive impact. I used to rush through my points because silence felt so awkward. But once I started pausing, people were more interested in what I had to say because that teeny tiny pause sends a subconscious message that says, I'm about to say something really important. You need to listen to this. And the way you show up when you're delivering your message will back your words up. And then the next one is where you take real control. Be the one that documents decisions in a meeting. Send those follow-up emails and recap those action items. Clarify who owns what. Because here's the truth. Whoever sends that first follow-up and takes control of the narrative after the meeting is the one that gets remembered. So when you're the one sending that first follow-up, you're not only participating in meetings, you're the one driving accountability. You're taking leadership over what's going on. And here's the thing, it doesn't have to be super complicated or very complex. You don't have to capture every single word that has been said. Now there are AI tools that do that for you. But a quick Slack message or short email that says, here are the action items we agreed on today. Let me know if I missed anything. Just that. It will have a massive impact on your visibility in the company and how people perceive you. It literally takes 5 minutes, but it positions you as someone who keeps things on track. And again, that's the kind of presence that gets you promoted. And to make it easy for you, I'll share my personal Notion template that I use in every single meeting. It makes those follow-ups super easy and well-structured. I'll leave a link in the description for you. So learn from my own mistakes. I've been in IT for 15 years, and that version of me in the first year that was trying to get so visible and so noticed in those meetings was simply making too much noise. She was not building authority. If you only remember one thing today, let it be this. Respect does not come from volume. It comes from value. So make sure that your contributions always carry some weight. The more meaningful your contributions are, the more memorable and the more respect you will get. And believe me, once you understand that, you win. Now do me a favor and please subscribe. I dread saying this sentence, but I heard that you really need to say it so that people hopefully do it. So please subscribe. Awkward.